Going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. No Spurs this weekend. We get a weekend off, probably not so welcome because we love the hustle and bustle of it all. Win, lose or draw, we're always there. But we got a Tottenham update to bring you, to take you through the weekend. And we're going to start off talking about potential pre-season plans, as Samu says that Tottenham are finalising plans for a pre-season tour of Asia. Yet again, Tottenham are currently in advanced talks over holding a training camp in the Far East. Tottenham are expected to schedule a stop in South Korea for the second summit in a row, while a game in Hong Kong is also being discussed. And Charlie Watts, who's an Arsenal journalist, has confirmed now that Tottenham and Arsenal will face each other in the K-Tak Stadium in Hong Kong, which has a capacity of 50,000 fans with a retractable roof as well. So, yeah, those are the potential plans. Spurs potentially going for a training camp in Korea, but a definite game in Hong Kong.
So I think having a North London derby in Hong Kong is going to be Arteta again in pre-season, backing away from one of our players on the touchline in pre-season.
Won't be Højbjerg this time.
It won't be Højbjerg, mate. Who's going to take turns to have a go at Arteta? I can't wait. But yeah, it's nice for the international fans, I guess. Another stop in Korea, I think it's understandable. I think, we don't know the future of Son at the moment, and they want to, obviously, Yang Mi-hyuk now is going to be with the what's called the first team probably in pre-season anyway, I'd assume. So I think Tottenham, we know the fan base we have in South Korea, so I think Tottenham want to take advantage of that. It's no surprise. Hopefully we'll be going back to Korea. We'll have to wait and see. But the North London derby in Hong Kong, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. Obviously, they say it's a pre-season friendly, but it's never a friendly when Spurs and Arsenal play, even if it's
bragging rights up for
in
grabs.
Hong Kong. It'll be interesting to see what the support's like in Hong Kong.
I wouldn't mind if there's a trophy up for grabs. A pre-season trophy.
But I'm interested to see what the support's like in Hong Kong, because I was actually blown away when we were out there in the summer in Japan and the support that Spurs had. It was actually blew me away, the amount of support. Everyone knew all the songs, and it was like proper being at a competitive game, being at that friendly in Japan. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like in Hong Kong. But I think they will miss a trick if they don't actually host a game in Korea.
For sure, of course. That's going to be more attention. But if anyone from Hong Kong Spurs is out there watching this video, get in touch. I would like to know more about it, because maybe we'll come out there.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of Son Heung-min, Tom Allnutt of The Times says that Tottenham, the hierarchy of Tottenham, wants Sonny to retire at the club, but they have not yet been able to persuade him to extend his contract, which will have 1 year left in the summer.
I kind of understand both positions. I think from Tottenham's point of view, we know that Son's not going to last forever, and we know how much he brings to the club. We know as well the quality of what he provides. I think even this season he's shown he's still got a lot to offer, and he's still our best attacker pretty much, even right now. I think it's also clear he does need to be managed a bit. He can't play every game like he used to, and he can't play 2 games a week for extended periods of time, and that's clearly affected his form. So there is a balancing act there. But from Son's point of view as well, he's 32, will be 33, beginning of next season. First of all, is the way we play football suited him? Not just the fact that he's always out wide, but also constantly high pressing, lots of running, which Son can do when he's at his freshest. But when he's not, I think, is it too much to ask of someone like him? And as well, is that going to take years off his, more time off his playing career when he's asked to constantly be at 100 miles an hour all the time? Is that more suited to younger players than it is to a 32-year-old? Could we give him that kind of Salah role in a way that, when you watch Liverpool with how Salah plays, they press, but he's not the one always doing it. They kind of make up for him with other players who are more energetic around him and kind of give him a bit of a free role to kind of do what he can do in the final third. And sometimes even when Liverpool are defending, he's like kind of stuck up the pitch and wait for a counter. Can we do that with Son? Are we good enough to do that with Son? That's another question. And again, we're 13th. We're potentially going another season. We'll have to wait till we see what happens in Europa League, but it could potentially be another season without a trophy. With each season that passes, the reality of Son ending his career without a major trophy comes closer and closer, and that's unacceptable for someone of his stature in his career and someone with his quality. So I understand if he feels like I'm actually never going to win something here, and while I still have a few good years left, maybe I should leave. So I understand that point of view as well. So I think, and another point of view, do Tottenham how long of a contract does Tottenham want to offer him? How much of a pay rise does Tottenham want to offer him? All these different things as well.
Well, they're saying Tottenham want him to retire at the club.
Yeah, but how much of a pay rise are they going to offer him off the back of that? You know, he's currently on, I think, close to 200 grand a week. Yeah. Are they going to offer him a big pay rise on that, or is it going to be like, we'll just offer you an extension on the current terms? Like, I don't know what Tottenham's thinking is behind that. So I think it's a bit of a complicated situation. I think it would ease if Son was to have a really good run from now to the end of the season, you know, and we go to that, go find that Europa League and maybe win it, and he's scoring a lot of goals from now to the end of the season. Obviously, we manage him with rotation with Odegaard and things like that. Maybe he'll feel like, actually, there is still a role and this team is still going places. But if we have a really poor end to the season, he's not in top form, and we end up in mid-table mediocrity and no trophy, maybe we'll think like, actually, my time might be up here.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, merit and sporting integrity on the pitch. I feel like if it does look like Spurs are going in the right direction, because let's be frank about it, we haven't been going in the right direction for some time. And, you know, Ange Postecoglou came in last season, it looked like, you know, it was turning for the better. And then this season it's been a bit of a step backwards with the injuries and the league form and going out the cups and everything like that. And we are still in the Europa League, so there is something to take from that. But I think Sonny, like you said, you know, with the caliber of player he is, he needs to end his career with at least some sort of trophies in the trophy cabinet. And if he can't fulfill that at Spurs, then I would completely understand of him wanting to move away. But I do feel like, regardless of the money, I feel like if he feels Spurs are going in the right direction, and if he feels that Spurs, he can win those trophies at Spurs, he will stay.
Yeah, but I agree. But there's another as well, another thing in terms of Ange, not in terms of I don't think they get on or anything like that, and just in a sense that the way we play football is very relentless, and we kind of need everyone doing their part. Like, Slot has come up with a way of basically easing the burden of Salah off the ball. He does his bit, don't get me wrong, he's not like nothing, but he definitely doesn't do as much as the other players. Like, Szoboszlai definitely does some of the running off him, and they ease the burden off him because they know when we get to the final third, if we get the ball to him quick enough, he can make the difference. We kind of have to start doing that with Son, and I feel like we're just not doing that at the moment. We still ask him to run as hard as everyone else, and to be fair, at the moment we are as a team, we kind of need that as well. So it's not like I'm saying Ange is doing something wrong, but we need to get to a moment where we're a very much more kind of stable team, and we can afford to kind of get Son in these more attacking positions without asking too much of a burn on him when he's this kind of age. And it's about whether we can afford to do that or not.
Yeah, there is an element of that is true, but I do feel like in certain games he can still take up that role for the team. There's obviously a question if he can continue to do that over the next year or two. I have seen certain games, you look at, you know, the Elfsborg game, the game last week, I can't remember who it was against, where he was just brilliant out on that left-hand side, and he was a constant threat, taking on his man, aggressive nature, pressing from the front. I mean, there are certain games that he can do it, but there's obviously that question mark, can he do it 2 times a week? Can he do it for the whole season, you know? So what I would like to see is for Son to sign a new contract, but us to sign a top left winger so we can kind of share the minutes with him. Maybe that's Odegaard. Maybe the plan is to do that with Odegaard. I don't know. So maybe the right winger is the player that needs to come in, but definitely the burden needs to be shared, that's for sure.
Either we manage him on off the pitch in the sense that we kind of give him those breaks, or if we are going to keep playing him consistently, you have to ease that burden on him to press, because otherwise you are just taking years of his career essentially. I don't know how much he can keep that up for. It's going to make his career a bit shorter, whereas look at Salah and his longevity. It's because over the this has happened because when he first came to Liverpool, he was pressing as much as anyone, but in the last few years he's eased that. And it's not because Liverpool don't press as a team as much, it's just because they've got a plan for him. We need to do that with Sonny.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that it does end with him signing a new contract. But I do kind of fear that next season might be the last we see of Sonny in a Spurs shirt. And, you know, it's going to be a very sad day when Sonny does leave the club. It's going to be an emotional last game.
Whenever it happens, the end, let's hope it's not soon, but whenever it happens, let's just hope he has a trophy to show for it.
Let's hope the last game is a cup final with him lifting something.
Exactly.
Next up, good news on Archie Gray, and he's been named Young Player of the Year at the London Football Awards. So big up to you, Archie Gray. Testament to the hard work that he's put in this season. Past winners of this tournament, Dele Alli, Harry Kane, Declan Rice, Conor Gallagher, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, and Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, it's good company, and Tammy Abraham. So, yeah, fair play to Archie. Congratulations to him. Thoroughly deserved for a stellar first year at the club. And considering it's not been an easy first year for him, a lot of difficult circumstances he's come into the club with and thrown in the deep end in a lot of situations. And I think he's done such a great job. So, fair play to him. I do wonder who else was up for the award.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm trying to think who else could have won it, because this is just a London thing. And I don't know who qualifies as well, how old you have to be. So if Palmer won it last year, I'm guessing it was last year, he would have been 20, I think, or 21?
21, I think. He's 22 now, isn't he?
He's 22. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe one
probably
year.
Under 21s.
One area maybe up for it. Other than him, who else was really in for it? I'm trying to think of good young players. Bergval, potentially. Lewis Skelly. But I think maybe Gray's played a lot more than him.
There must be some youngsters at Chelsea as
Colwell, I think he's a bit older maybe. I don't know.
I'm not sure who was up for it.
So Archie, I think thoroughly deserved it, and hopefully that gives him the confidence that and recognition of what a great year he's had. And I think this guy is definitely a star in the making. I think we haven't even seen like a fifth of what he can do. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? We haven't even seen a bit. Like I think we've seen like a tiny slither of the quality of what he's got, and I think. And I think he's a star in the making, and I can't wait to see him in his best position. I can't wait to see him grow as a player, get better and better. I think he's been fantastic, and he's been a brilliant signing so far.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. In terms of potential transfers, the Bleacher Report are reporting that Spurs scouts have been really impressed with Como midfielder Nico Paz. An interesting player, come through the ranks at Real Madrid. He has signed for Como and Cesc Fabregas this season. He's a number 10, so an attacking midfielder, played 24 games, 6 goals, 4 assists for a team, obviously not doing too great in the Italian league this season with Como, but he has been getting a lot of plaudits throughout the season.
I think Como are doing quite well in a sense that
for who they are.
Yeah, for who they are, you know, and how they've built the club in a short space of time. Fabregas is doing a great job, and even last week or 2 weeks ago, they beat Napoli at home. Like that showed they can get some big results. And I think Fabregas is bringing a real kind of technical quality to that Como side, and I think that clearly this guy Nico Paz is central to that in the number 10, and I think his numbers are pretty good. 6 goals, I think 4 assists, so 10 goal contributions in this season as a 20-year-old in his first season in Serie A. From what I can see from his numbers as well, he's near the top when it comes to kind of defensive contributions for players in his position. So he seems to be a guy who works very hard. He's got a lot of technical ability. Seems to be would fit right in at Tottenham, to be honest. But whether where would he fit in? Would we have to sell one of Maddison or Decky to kind of bring him in potentially? Is that the case? Would we be open to doing that? Could we mould him into a number 8 or even a wide player? I've seen he's played wide a few times, but he's definitely more central. So here's the Bleacher Report. I don't know how much I believe it.
Yeah, but regardless, he is a top player in the making, only 20 years of age as well. And I do think he has a very bright future ahead of him. And, you know, he did get on the pitch a couple of times for Real Madrid before making the move to Como. But I think he left because he wanted, to further his development and get first-team football. And, yeah, I think it'll be a lucky club whoever do get him. Next up, we're going to talk about the Southampton defender, Tyler Harwood-Belis. Bleacher Report as well was saying that Tottenham are among several Premier League clubs circling around the Southampton defender. The likes of Newcastle, Villa, Palace, Everton, West Ham and Brighton are also vying for his signature. Harwood-Belis did recently sign with Unique Sport Group Agency as he prepares to leave Southampton after just one season. The defender wants to try and get a place in Thomas Tuchel's England squad ahead of the World Cup, and his chances will only be bolstered if he stays in the Premier League and plays regularly. While this has put plenty of Premier League outfits on red alert, Man City do have a buyback clause and a sell-on fee for Harwood-Belis, which is worth around 25%.
Screams of Palace, I think.
You reckon screams of Palace?
Absolutely. He'll fit right in their back 3. I think he'll get game time. Well, they also lost Chalobah, so they need another centre-back regardless of whether Guehi leaves or not. He'll get game time, I think. He's a real Palace type of defender, good on the ball. He's also, I think, in a back 3, he'll be well protected. He'll be in a better system. He'll get regular game time. And he's seen the likes of Guehi play for Palace regularly and get a chance for England. So he knows there's a pathway there playing for Palace, getting called up for England. So
he even got a chance for England playing for Southampton.
That's also true.
Debut, didn't he?
That was true for Lee Carsley, under Carsley. So I think this has Palace written all over it.
You reckon? No Spurs?
I don't think Spurs are going for him. Actually, to be fair, I do think there's also has a deal that has Levy written all over it.
That's what I'm saying.
England international, young English defender from Southampton. But I don't see Tottenham spending the money to get him, to be honest. I think
how much do you reckon he'll command?
I just think if we're going for another centre back, first we've got Vuskovic coming back. If we're losing Romero, I don't think we're going to replace him with someone like Belis. I'd like to think we'd spend a bit more money on a better defender like someone like Aguero, who's worth a bit more money. I don't see where Belis, in terms of his stature, where does he fit in at Tottenham?
What do you think about him as a defender, though?
I think he's good. I think definitely started the season well. Massive threat from set pieces. Very big threat in the box. I think he's definitely surrounded by inferior defenders. But as well, he at times also has made a lot of mistakes playing out the back. It hasn't just been the players around him. He as well has made a lot of mistakes. So I think he needs to go somewhere where he shows that you put him in a good system, that he can be consistently good before I think Tottenham decide that actually he's the defender for us. Albeit, by that stage he'll probably triple the price. But I don't know. I'm not convinced that I like him. I think he's been all right, and I think it's a shame he's at Southampton because I think his stock would be high if it wasn't. But I think he needs to move to something like a Palace or an Everton, something like that, and then I think he can make the step up from that point of view. I think it might be too early if he goes straight from Southampton.
All right. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Samu Omorodion Agahawa. Caught offside says that Tottenham are considering a move for the 20-year-old forward. Omorodion Agahawa is also said to be a target for Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham and Villa. He's reported to have a €50 million release clause, or price tag, sorry, not release clause, but price tag. He's a player that's obviously doing really well this season. 13 goals in 19 games for Porto. Wasn't he at Atletico Madrid for a time?
Well, last season he was, and he very nearly got included in the deal for Conor Gallagher, didn't he?
He never played for Atletico.
No, but he was on loan somewhere. I can't remember exactly what happened. Yeah, and he did.
Alves.
Yeah, and Chelsea really wanted him. They wanted him including the deal. And I can't remember why, but it was about to go through.
Conor Gallagher.
But it was about I'm saying I can't remember why he pulled out or someone pulled out, something to do with the agent's fees or something. I can't remember exactly. It was some complicated thing, and he ended up not going to Chelsea, and that nearly put the Conor Gallagher deal under threat. But because of the Felix thing, they seemed to get around it. But in terms of him, very impressive. He's an absolute unit. You can see that he is one of the most physical strikers you're ever likely to see in that front line. I think he reminds me a lot of Mateta, to be honest, in a good way. I think he just adds that physical chaos in the box. You pump balls into him, and he's very much a player who can beat his defender and physically dominate in the duels. So I do really like him. With Solanke here at the moment, I would take him as rotation with Solanke for sure. If Richarlison leaves, and at the moment Tell's not doing it, so I'm not sure at the moment what's happening with him. So maybe there is something in it, but again, 50 million. I guess if we get a good fee for Richarlison potentially, and Tell doesn't stay, I think maybe I could see it. But I don't know. Something just tells me he's not going to end up at Tottenham.
I think if it doesn't work out with Tell, I think it is something that Spurs should definitely highly consider, because I think he's a player with a massive future ahead of him. And if we can get in there ahead of a few clubs before kind of the big sharks start sniffing around, because I do think the big sharks will end up sniffing around for him. So I think if it doesn't work out for Tell from now to the end of the season, we're going to spend more on that for Matisse Tell. So if he still hasn't cut the mustard, towards the end of the season, I think Spurs should put the feelers out for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I like him. Young has also got a good record in Europa League as well.
Every time I see, he just seems to be on the score sheet. Every time I see him in their games.
Yeah, he's an absolute physical beast, that's for sure.
And a great finisher as well. All right, well, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we've talked about today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.